Good morning. Thank you for joining me. I've got very triggered yesterday by someone was sharing with me that they went and had a tarot reading, which I'm fine with tarot cards. I don't use tarot cards, never have used them. I understand what they're about, but when they mentioned to me, I just had this gut feeling that this person was going to say to me that the tarot reader said that they were connecting to Archangel Michael. And then this person went on to explain to me how the reading went and that this tarot reader was connecting to Archangel Michael. Then I kind of start laughing because I've said this before. I've been doing this clairvoyance work I'm 60, and for the last 40 years I've been doing it. I have never ever connected to an archangel. And I believe, because in my way of thinking is, we have God's source energy, and we have very, very high beings. And these high beings, which can be grand masters or archangels, whatever you want to call them, are extremely wise in knowledge. They're not interested in a reading about your marriage breaking up, or they're not interested in a reading about you buying a house. They're not interested in the egoic stuff that we worry about on earth. Their knowledge is so spiritual and so wise. I, for the life of me, can't figure out why an archangel is coming through to somebody to do a tarot reading. That makes I've got someone touching me on the back. That makes absolutely no sense, because if they were coming through to start with, archangels are written in the Bible. They're a religious creation. Anyone who uses a divination to do a reading is banned through the Bible. So why are beings that are revered in the Bible, why are they coming through to do readings that are banned in the Bible? That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. If we are souls that keep evolving and keep growing and keep becoming wiser and wiser and wiser, why aren't these readers tapping into energies that have lived and have gained all that knowledge? Why are they bypassing? There's billions of energies that have come and gone that have retained so much knowledge. So why are they jumping over the top of all them and going straight to the top? I feel like it's because the tarot reader is comforted in themselves in some way because of their own belief system, that they feel like if they go straight to the top, then they're not going to be connecting to something that's low energy. In their mind, I'll go straight to the top. But really, an archangel or a really, really high being is going to give the most incredible learning, and not just answer a question that you've got when you go to get a reading. It's like, what's his name? Is it Bashir? The Indian guy that just sits there. He's got such a wisdom. Now, for me, he would be connecting to something really high. And he doesn't talk about your ego stuff. Like, am I going to buy a house? Am I going to get a new job? Am I going to find love? That's just not on that spiritual level. That's just what our ego wants to know. So why, for the life of me, would these really, really high, powerful beings be connecting to people to do that kind of answering? That makes no sense to me. And I just feel like we just need to be, I'm not telling you what to believe. You believe whatever you want to believe. But be open-minded. Start questioning. Hang on, why are you connecting to that person? And then ask them for proof, because you got no proof. I'm connecting to an archangel. Can you prove it? Because I reckon, I'm pretty sure, if an archangel with all that power was actually in my room, the whole room would light up. It wouldn't just be an average day, I can guarantee it. So, something to think about. We also have there is many ways that you can get a reading or get information. So, say with a tarot reading, they're using cards and they understand the meaning of every card. So a really, really good tarot reader has a lot of natural intuition. They probably don't even need the cards. They could probably just do a reading without the cards. But for safety's sake, they use the cards as that's the way that they feel comfortable. So if they pull out, if you're asking a question about, let's say you ask a question about work, and they pull out the Tower card. The Tower card is unexpected changes, like hidden changes, things you're not seeing. So then they have to interpret that card to the question that you asked. So their answer would be, there's changes coming in your workplace. There's unexpected changes coming in your workplace. Now, for someone who's receiving that kind of information, that might be all they need to hear. Okay, I'll walk away and I'm thinking, yep, soon there's going to be changes. I'll go to work because soon, unexpectedly, there's going to be changes. And they just hang on to that thought. It gives them some sort of hope that things are going to change for them. It's very general. It doesn't give them any details how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, why it's going to happen. None of that's there. But it's just that changes is coming. The same card could then come about when they ask about a relationship. Next minute the Tower card comes up and there's unexpected changes, and that could worry someone if someone's in a really close relationship and then they get told that there's unexpected changes. They can walk away worrying that someone's going to leave them or someone's going to die or something's going to happen. So it's the talent of the reader to give more detail around it. Don't just generalize, because people will overthink things. And if you overgeneralize something, they'll walk away and come up with their own little scenario. And it also depends on the person that's listening. So if I was to say to you, unexpected changes are coming, you can walk away and have 70,000 thoughts go around in your head like, oh, I wonder if that's got to do with, oh, well, I know that I'm going to go here next month, so maybe it's got to do with that, and you'll start to try and work it all out. And then it becomes confusing. So, oh, now my contact lens is going to have to fall out. So I think someone's poking me. Maybe I'm not meant to be talking about this today. Maybe I'm going to stir up a few feathers. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Then we have astrologers. Now, I always used to think, do astrologers actually use telescopes to know where all the planets are? But that's astronomers. Astronomers are more into the physics and the science of planets. Astrologers use computers just to figure out where the astronomers place stars and planets and everything. The astrologers use that data. And it's, they use, what's the word they use? Anecdotal evidence. So it's their personal experience that they put into it. So again, they can generalize. So they could see the planets lined up and then, because it used to fascinate me when you'd see an astrologer saying that, I don't know, some Mercury means that there's going to be floods. You know, Mercury placed somewhere next to something else means there's going to be floods. And I used to think, who originally came up with the concept that Mercury was connected to water, or whatever planet is connected to water? Where did that come from? Like, who put that connection together to start with? But they can position planets, and then they can say there's going to be floods, or there's going to be a lot of water. To actually pinpoint where, what part of what country, or they have to use instinct. They have to have a natural psychic ability then to then put the information that's with the planets to then say whereabouts in the world it's going to happen. Otherwise, if they just said there's going to be floods, yes, there's 100% chance that somewhere in this world this week there'll be a flood. It's like earthquakes. It's like you can predict earthquakes. And if you look up on, there's an earthquake, internet site that shows you where earthquakes happen. There was 46 today, because I happened to look to see if there was one in Libya. There was 46 earthquakes around the world today. So by saying there's going to be an earthquake coming, you know that's just over a 50% chance that it's actually going to happen. So just under, sorry. And it's still general. So, but what happens is when you're searching for information and you hear something that you want to hear, you're going to think that they're a really good messenger. If you go onto YouTube and you type in tarot reading for, and then type your star sign. So if you're a Gemini, just type tarot reading for Gemini, or tarot reading for Pisces, tarot reading for Capricorn, whatever is your star sign. And there will be hundreds of different tarot readers out there that do a reading for star signs for either the day or the week or the month, whatever it is. And what I just watch about 3 or 4 of them, and I'll guarantee that you'll be able to pick stuff out of there and go, that resonates with me. That's exactly what's happening in my life at this moment. And then you will think that they're amazing at what they do. Because it's so general, it is going to be affecting people. It's a bit like saying, what's something really, really... This week you're going to cook a meal with chicken. This week, I'll guarantee you'll cook a meal using chicken. And there's probably, 100 people out there go, oh, yeah, my God, I've got that tonight. Tonight I'm actually cooking something with chicken. It's generalization, and it's going to mean something to you, so then you're going to think it's important. I'm not knocking this as being wrong. I'm just awakening the fact that a lot of stuff can land in our ears, and it's exactly what we want to hear. So then we think it's a sign, it's a message, it's meant just for us. If you're watching those YouTube tarot readers, you might think that they are talking directly to you. Same thing happens with me. I suddenly be sitting at home and I get this message that I want to share on a post, and I will write it out and post it, and then I get comments below saying, this is me at the moment, this is exactly as I'm feeling. Because we are all connected energetically, it's really natural that we're all going to be going through the same thing at the same time. And then other people are not going to be going through it, but there's such a large group of people that are going to be going through it. So when you've got a tarot reader, they can be very general. They can just say, there's change coming. An astrologer can say, there's change coming, or there's water coming, or something's going to happen around money. Very, very general. But then when you've got clairvoyance is visual. And the clairvoyant doesn't use tools. They use visions that they see. They connect to an energy and they use vision. So if you asked a clairvoyant, am I going to change jobs? They will see a picture in their mind of, like for me instantly, I see someone walking into a building, and it might have 4 steps going up, and then it's got an archway, and there's a guy standing at the front like a security guard, and I can see how many, if it's a high rise or if it's a low flat building. Sometimes I see the logo written across the top. Sometimes I see what the company is, like it might be a cybersecurity company, or it might be Coca-Cola, or it might be a company that helps people find healthcare. There's always some kind of name on there, or sometimes if I can't see the name clearly, I will get a feeling. The feeling then comes on what that business is helping. What is it servicing? Sometimes I've seen people go into jobs where it's a small family business. Other times I see them go into a huge corporation that's got like different companies all around a country or even overseas, where they can actually transfer to a different place but still keep a job. And I can see staff members that work there, and I can get names of people that work there. So a clairvoyance has detail, and you don't get that kind of detail in astrology because it's generalized. Maybe if even even if you were asking about a relationship, what is my future partner going to look like? Astrology can't answer that. Astrology may be able to say there's a partner coming in 2 months' time, and tarot might be able to say there's a partner coming or there's a new beginning. But to actually see the colour of their eyes and the colour of their hair and what they do for a job and what they look like and whether they have a brother or a sister, all those details, that comes with a clairvoyant reading. So there's so many different ways that you can access information. And it depends on what you want to hear as well. You might be really, really happy with just the generalization. Something else that does confuse a lot of people is when they get too many readings off too many people. And I've had a lot of my own clients that have done this. They've come to me for a reading. Then they thought, I don't really know whether I trust her or whether she's on the ball or what she's, is she making this stuff up? So then they'll go and get another reading from a tarot reader, and then they'll go and get another reading from an astrologer, and then they'll go and get another reading from another psychic, and then they get 4 different interpretations. And then they are totally confused. Because which one's right? Because nothing lined up. And I always feel like spirit muck around with that because people don't trust. Because you really do not need us. You just need yourself. We're there when people really, really... Sometimes it's just a curiosity. Like someone will just get a reading and they're like, I'm just curious, where do you see me going in 5-10 years time? It's just a curiosity. They get the reading, they put it away, and off they go with life. They read it back to themselves in about 8 years time and they go, oh my God, that actually did happen. Oh, it did happen like that. They don't live for what was said to them. But then there's other people that live literally word for what has been said to them because they're just holding on to hope. It's a clingingness that I don't particularly like what's happening in my life right now, and I'm just holding on that it's actually going to end up like that. And they want to get lots and lots of readings because they just want lots and lots of information. They just have to know. And then it gets confusing. And I have found a lot where people have done that. They've got too many readings and then got themselves confused and then walked away. But they come back. They come back. I'm very, very fortunate that they come back. I believe that what my information that comes through me, not from me, through me, I believe it is accurate. And it eventually unfolds. Although you do have free will, you have the free will. I have seen situations unfold. It's kind of like the sliding door thing where you've got a situation over here and a situation over here. Your higher self wants you to go to this situation over here, but you choose that situation. So when it comes through as the clairvoyance, they're showing me what the higher self wants. The ego goes and does whatever it wants anyway. Doesn't mean that eventually it might be 10 years, it might be 15 years, it might be 20 years, and you have some sort of moment in your life where you decide, I think that was a lesson for me, and now I'm going to go back into myself and I'm going to go this way. And that's when it unfolds. I don't think spirit just gives stuff just for the hell of it. There's always some form of guidance there. And another thing is, if I am ever scrolling through TikTok or Instagram, and I see someone telling me how to think and telling me what to do, I'll just pass straight through. Because a really good teacher opens your mind but lets you make all the decisions. Even if I get someone in a reading that asks me the question, should we move from this country to that country? My very first line is, I can't tell you what to do. Your guides can't tell you what to do. My guides can't. No one can tell you what to do. This has to come from you. But I will show you 2 scenarios. If you stay where you are, this is the way things will unfold. And if you move, this is the way things will unfold. And then I get this really strong instinct that the person is going to make the decision to move. So then I will focus more on the scenario of when they have moved, because that's what is being shown to me, and it's like a pull sensation. And then they end up moving, and that's the way it sort of unfolds. It's like getting a picture of the future, and they can go there or they can go there, but I will always get shown more of where the higher self wants them and where they will eventually end up. Another thing is, so I don't like listening to someone that starts telling me what to do. If you're listening to people like that, just listen to the ones that talk, that just help you open your mind, so that then you can start asking your own questions and working things out for yourself, because your journey is unique to you. It's not the same as everybody else's. And I don't know what your thoughts on about psychics that take it upon themselves to solve missing person cases. So as I was flicking through TikTok with the disappearance of Nicola Bulley, I started noticing, because it must be because I do that kind of work, that I keep getting that kind of stories showing up in my feed. I noticed a lot of psychics, clairvoyants, taking it upon themselves to solve the case. And I saw a lot of the comments were, you were never asked to do this by the parents, the family, or the husband, especially with the Nicola Bulley case. You weren't asked to do this, so why take it upon yourself to do this? Are you trying to win brownie points? Are you trying to boost your own ego? And this clairvoyant, in her perception, her own perception, her thought was, I am exposing the case. So she thinks by exposing the case that someone's going to show up, or that everyone keeps talking about it, it's going to help find somebody quicker. That's her way of thinking. It may not be everyone else. Like, personally, I don't feel it's my role to step in and interfere where it's not warranted. I have done that. I have worked on missing people's cases only when I've been contacted directly by someone working on the case through the police officers or through criminal profilers, or I've been connected directly from a family member. That is the only time I will butt my nose in and do that kind of work, because I don't feel like it's my role to save everybody. Like, it's not my role to put a case out there and make sure that everybody sees it, which this other woman believes is her role. It's her role in life to educate everybody else on where she believes something is. Now, when I was watching all these, I just sat back and watched where their theories was as to where she was. And I saw a couple of them saying, originally they were saying that she had fallen into the water, right? And I'm thinking, okay, that's the way you're seeing it. Then when when you start watching, they start watching more and more news feeds, and as they're talking about it, people are sending them information saying, well, now the police are looking in the fields, and now the police are doing this. And they've changed their theory then from she was in the water to she was having an argument with a man. And now I see her in a house. And now I see her in a wine cellar, or, there was all these other different things. And then yesterday, when unfortunately they found that poor woman's body, and she was in the river when they found her, the story goes back to, that's what I originally said, like these other psychics saying, see, I said she was originally in the water. So, I personally, when I'm wrong, and you've heard me say it before, I'm wrong. I will say I'm wrong. I got a vision wrong. I didn't see it clearly. I messed up. I am really accountable for when I am wrong. And yet all I saw on these TikTok psychics was, yep, I said that originally. And then people were saying, yeah, but you changed your story as the story was going along. And they won't own up to that. Like, be accountable. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. There's no brownie points either way. It's just, but I don't know why they feel like it's their right. Just imagine for a moment that someone in your family just disappeared and you had the trauma that you would be feeling. How would you feel if there was psychics out there plastering all over social media what they thought was your private details, what they thought was wrong with your loved one that disappeared? How would you feel? I'm pretty sure you would want them all to just back off. Let the authorities do their job and let them just back off. If you really, really were desperate for some psychic help, then you would reach out yourself. You would reach out and ask yourself. But if you haven't reached out to them, and if you have such strong religious beliefs that you don't believe in psychics and a psychic was doing that, that's very offensive to you. So yeah, that was another thing. I was so triggered yesterday by these people that just take it upon themselves to deal in a case that they haven't been asked to deal in. And I have backed off a lot on my predictions. And it's not that I'm not getting them. I'm going through something big myself around the ego, and around my whole concept is shifting. I'm getting so much more information, and I'm hesitant to share it because, one, I was even hesitant to share the earthquake one that I did yesterday, because what are we going to do about it? I don't particularly want to share stuff that's just going to put fear into people, like now they're going to sit back and wait for an earthquake. So I'm very, very, I know there's so many people out there that really like the predictions, but there's nothing we can do about them. They're going to happen anyway. So I'm really struggling with my own ego self, and I often say to Spirit, like, why are you giving me this stuff? I can't stop it. It's like when I used to dream about plane crashes, and then I'd wake up and they were on the news, and I said, just stop giving them to me. I can't ring up an airport and stop a flight. I'm watching devastation in a dream that I didn't ask for, and I don't want to see it. So just stop giving me those things. And they did. They did. But now, like with an earthquake, I always feel that physically in my body. It's like this, I don't know what it is. It's like this horrible anxiety that comes up. So I know that you do love predictions. I know you love to hear them, but I am very hesitant to share them all. I've seen lots of them. I'm trying to pick, now I'm thinking I'm going to pick out the ones that are going to be helpful to you, especially around the living arrangements in the future. I can see so many people living off the grid, like people that own land. They will be like leasing out, say, 2 acres, an acre or 2 acres, a corner part of their paddocks for tiny houses, and for people that want to just build with solar and rainwater and just live totally off the grid. I can see so much of that. I can see a lot more people buying mobile homes, like the smaller vans that are all set up with solar on top, like free living, free camping. I can see more people doing that, and because they can work. If you can work from a computer, you can be anywhere. You can travel and work as long as you've got a Wi-Fi signal. And I can see a lot more of that. And I see a lot more people simplifying their life and not needing to. You can still have wealth if you want wealth. You can have wealth, but if you simplify your life and don't have to have so much stuff, or have to go on 5 holidays a year and have to have, $80,000 cars when a $10,000 car will suffice, the money you save is still going to build up without you having to buy into an investment property or you can still save that money. So I see a lot more of that, and community living. And I live in an amazing community place. If anyone needed you just put on a community post on a Facebook post. If someone needs something desperately, there are so many people that offer help. It's just a wonderful community place. So I see a lot more of that. But that's a good thing to share. Those kind of predictions are good to share. So I have them and I see them, but my ego is saying, I don't need to prove to anybody what I'm seeing is right, because when I'm doing that, I'm just feeding my own ego. So yeah, that was a topic about so many different things. Eye-opening. Start asking questions. You know, if someone's telling you something, ask them a question. Why? Like, why? Get them to prove to you what they're seeing, what they're doing. Don't just take their word for it. You know, with the way that the internet is now and the governments are, you don't believe what governments tell you. You used to. So be the same with people that are giving you psychic information and stuff as well. Ask them to give you some sort of proof. Or, you know, I mean, with clairvoyance, you can't have proof until after it's happened. But if they're connecting to some archangel, ask them, what do they look like? How come a really high, powerful being is you know, engaging in a reading which is not even classified as something that should be done, with mixing religion and spirituality together? So yeah, a lot of questions, a lot of thoughts today, and I will talk to you soon.